that is a statue to the Carolina Parakeet, which is actually a green, yellow, and red parrot-looking bird, and it's pointing that way to the northwest because that's the last place that it was seen shortly away from here before it went extinct. And then the rest of this park is kind of it's not dedicated to the Carolina parakeet, but it's like to try to save other endangered species. So I know one of the ones they talk about is the grasshopper sparrow, and there's like a lot of, I think there's more butterflies here than any other where in the state of Florida. And this was the first Florida International Dark Sky site, and they have an astronomy observation area up here for sponsored stargazing and stuff like that. But obviously it's been kind of overcast and rainy, so I haven't got to see any of the stars. But it seems like a cool place. They offer there's 116 miles of trails. They have bird watching stuff. I think they have they had some kind of Jeep. It wasn't a Jeep, but it was some kind of big vehicle tour. I don't know if it was for birds or if it was just to go around on the prairies or what, but definitely wish I got to kind of enjoy and explore this park maybe a couple months from now. It's a little bit warmer, and I get to see the stars and the wildlife. I mean, I did see a turkey, seen some deer, so there's that. So I'm pretty sure this is their astronomy area. It's just water and outlets, and then on this side, water, outlets, picnic tables. And I think they have some kind of thing where you get access to the park overnight, and they let you park up here, I guess just because it's away from building lights and stuff. I know it's darker, but yeah, it's not a whole lot to it. Did hear where some people said they tried to, thru-hikers tried to camp there as a stealth site or something, which I wouldn't recommend, because park people do drive around occasionally, and if they see you sleeping there, they probably notice. I mean, it is directly in front of the building too, so but if people are actually using it for dark sky stuff, they're going to be driving in and out with their headlights late at night, talking and moving around and all that kind of stuff, and it wouldn't be a great place to sleep. So, and plus, don't stealth camp at a state park like this. They're already probably underfunded, and it's only $17 to camp. That money's going to go to preserving these dry grass prairies to, like I said, save endangered species, have a place to hike, enjoy nature and all that. So it's not like you're giving it to some mega billion-dollar corporation. It's going to preserve this hiking trail that you're on. So do the right thing and don't try to stealth camp where you shouldn't. Well, I was really hoping I was going to keep my feet and socks dry today, because I was feeling good about my blisters and making progress on them. And I'm not even 10 minutes into the hike, and there's not really a way to get around this. I mean, it goes all the way down there. I don't think this is all just from the last few days of rain. I mean, it could be, but it's a lot of water. And that water was a little bit higher than it looked. It was probably calf deep at parts, so feet are definitely wet. It's not nearly as windy as it was the last couple days. So far, no rain. It is kind of foggy and misty. You can kind of see it's that hazy. It is chilly. I don't know exactly what temperature, but probably low 40s. And that water was definitely cold on my feet, but hopefully that's all of it for the whole day and my feet will dry out. I did go back to Crocs because when I got here the other day with Croc on the left and shoe on the right, my left was a lot less sore, and I think that's just because I have more room, and I bought a half size too small for the walking shoes because that was all they had, and I think that might just be part of the problem, is they're just a little bit too small. So I'm gonna try the Crocs today. We're not on roads anymore, so I think my foot soreness should be less, and I'm also coming off of a 0 and my feet are a little bit more adjusted to trail. You know, it's been just a little bit longer, so I'm hoping that I can make it in these Crocs, and I said most importantly that my blisters will heal, because foot soreness I can get over, like that goes away overnight when you rest. Blisters is the thing that kind of keeps coming back over and over. So yesterday was a little bit discouraging. I think it was the right decision. I don't regret it, because I think my feet did heal up better than I expected. But I had just gotten caught up to like 2 or 3 other through hikers. I was within 20 miles of my friend that I've been trying to catch up to since I started, and then taking that 0 put me like back to where I started basically. And I kind of thought somebody would come in to the campsite last night. Nobody did, so I kind of feel like I'm at the back of the pack, and that the people that were behind me have either quit, they're going way slower than I am, or they're like skipping around, skipping roadblocks. They're already ahead of me, or you know, maybe they got injured or something like that. But there is one person way up right there. I don't know who it is. They left maybe 5 minutes in front of me this morning from the park. I'm pretty sure they got to be a through hiker, because you're not really day hiking into this park or out of it. So I guess we'll find out later. Maybe they came in late, or they went to the bungalows or whatever, and I never saw them. I mean, I was basically in my sleeping bag the whole day, so it's very possible I missed them, but nobody camped at the sites next to me like they did before. So glad to be back on trail though, making some progress. And yeah, I think this will be a lot easier if you were hiking with a group, just because, like I said, it's just easier to pass the time when you get to camp. You gotta make plans together. If somebody's having a bad day for whatever reason, or if the weather's really bad, you know, you kind of help each other get through it. So it's definitely harder doing it solo, but I'm kind of used to it, so. But so far the weather's not too bad. It's definitely still chilly. I got my gloves on and rain pants, a rain jacket. Try to cut out some of the wind, but feet feel good so far, and I think we'll make it to River Ranch. And if I'm feeling good when I get there, I might do like a big day tomorrow, because there is some road walking, and I might try to make up some miles, catch up a little bit. We'll see. Is it just me? Does that look like somebody's footprint out here running barefoot? Or walking barefoot at least. Look, you can see the toes. I don't know what they're doing, but so that guy that was ahead of me is actually Brushy Bert. And speak of the devil, his sticker is right there. He kind of stopped at a spot. I think he wanted to slow down and just chat, so told me about his website and his, he does a lot of hiking in the swamp year round, and he works with a lot of like wildlife agencies to like track animals and photography, and writes guidebooks and all this other kind of stuff. And chatted for like 10 or 15 minutes, and then he just said, hey, well, you mind if I hike with you for a little bit? And I said no. So for the last, I don't know, 2, 3, or 4 hours or something, we've just been hiking and kind of chatting about all different kinds of stuff. He's got a wealth of knowledge about not just the Florida Trail, but wildlife and different aspects of other parks in Florida, hiking experience, and it's just good to talk to another thru hiker for a little bit. And we kind of swap stories about experiences on other trails and people that have quit this one or skipped it or whatever. So he has like a hip surgery that he had done, so he tends to do fewer miles. So he stopped back there at the Rattlesnake Hammock campsite, which I think for the day it was like 13 miles or something. So he's gonna hang out there for a little bit and rest, and maybe hike further later. But I'm gonna keep hiking to the RV River Resort, and like I said, he was giving me information about it. He's done the trail I think 3 times, so he's gone east and west around everything and stayed at a bunch of different sites, been to different restaurants and stuff. So it was good to get a lot of information from him to kind of know what to expect and all that. So it has started to rain a little bit, kind of here and there today, just light drizzles and stuff, but it's still a little chilly, but much better than the last couple of days. So I think it's gonna be kind of not so great weather today, but better tomorrow, and better than it was it'll be better tomorrow. And today's weather is better than it was yesterday. So, in my opinion, I don't really consider this a road walk. I have been walking on it for like at least 5 miles. I saw one camper RV. Oh, saw one camper RV. This little mud here is really slick and it doesn't look like it, but saw one camper RV coming the other way. But you're surrounded by woods. There's no town anywhere near here. There's no road noise, no traffic, no nothing. To me, this is just like a really big, well-maintained trail is what I consider this. But then you look at like the bike path that goes around Lake Okeechobee, and it's like paved asphalt. Some people would say, well, that's a trail because there's no cars on it. But to me, that's more of a road than a trail, and this is more of a trail than a road. So I'm always curious about, like, when you hear people say, oh, there's 300 miles of road walks or 500 miles of road walks or whatever it is, how they classify those different things, because it's definitely not the case that all road walks are created equal. There's probably a dozen different kinds of road walks you can go on, and this is probably about the best case scenario where, you know, it's basically like a Forest Service road that doesn't ever really get used for anything. So one of the things that Brushy Bert was explaining to me about these trees that I enjoy so much is he said they're water oaks, and that this environment is called a hammock, or specifically an oak hammock. So there's different sections like old growth and new growth. I don't know exactly how to determine which is which, but yeah, it's the hammock part has to do with like the cathedral-like arms that kind of, you know, reach out and stretch over everything. So, and then he was saying that this stuff that was, you know, it's all wet now from the rain, but this sandy soil is actually natural, and it comes up whenever they till the soil or cut the grass or whatever. It like mixes it up until new grass starts to grow in it again. So So this is the Mustang Center where you get your packages, and then next to it is kind of all the, not all, but there's several So you got the post office like over there, and then there's an escape room in that building. That pizza place I think is only open on the weekends. And then kind of right there is the general store. And I'll put up a few pictures of what's in there. And it's open till like 10 p.m. This place is huge. That place is the Longhorn Center. Mustang Center's down there. I don't know what's in that building. This is like an amphitheater. And then this building here, I forget the name of it, but it's like the main building. If you want to camp or do anything like that, you go in there and make a reservation. There's also like a bar and everything. But yeah, this place is huge. And this is only one small part of it. That's the conference center. Looks like there's hotel rooms or something back there. I'm not sure what that is. They're obviously building a water park. And then there's like a saloon that there was a whole bunch of people at that thing earlier. I'm guessing it's a bar of some sort. And then there's like I don't know what this thing is. It was like an obstacle course or something. I'll pass it here in a minute. Yeah, I don't know if this is open at this time or probably just a weekend thing, but yeah, an adventure park. And then across the street from it, they have an actual church. So this is not like your RV park that you would stay at past like Okeechobee where you can tent camp or what. I mean, you can tent camp here, but this is like a whole vacation spot. There's like a stadium over there for who knows what. And then as you're coming down, there's a adventure park. This is the RV camping. There's a petting zoo over here. I don't know if you can go inside those buildings for the petting zoo, but they have horses and ponies. I believe an emu or maybe an ostrich out in this field. I don't know if you can pet those or, like I said, if you have to go inside for them. And then these are their platform tents you can stay at. I believe they have electrical inside of them. I've not seen any pictures. I'm sure you can find them online, but I imagine they have to have some kind of cot or bed. You know, it's probably not a big one, but some form of sleeping surface in there. But I want to say they're like $75. I didn't talk to the official lady that does the rentals for that stuff, but I talked to the person kind of in there, and she says the prices fluctuate depending on how busy it is and the time of the year and all that kind of thing. So, but I've heard roughly $75 for one of those, $50 if you just want to use your own tent at a primitive site. So I mean, $75 for that, depending on what's in there. I'm gonna take a assumption that it's not heated at all. Maybe there's a space heater. I said I don't know, but $75, I think, value-wise, you might as well pay $75 for that instead of $50 for your own. At least on a crappy day like this, where it's kind of cold and wet and miserable. You know, if the weather's nicer, then maybe you don't need the extra comforts. But this is kind of where you come in, and then this road here is the one that you walk in on, and then you turn right here, So if you want a layout of this place, all the videos I just showed were starting from the far side, and I'm walking back to the trail, which is right here. So as you're walking in, everything's kind of in reverse order of what's in this video, but it's best if you can kind of plan to get here on the weekend, because they got the rodeo on the weekend. I think Saturdays only. The restaurants are like Friday and Saturday only. So it's a little bit more convenient. Prices are probably higher, but yeah. And I actually ran into 3 more through hikers here, which I didn't expect. One, because I took a 0 yesterday, and the people that left yesterday from Kissimmee were not the ones that I saw here. And also the people that I saw here, I thought would have been way ahead, because 2 of them were from the church, Dukes and Van Gogh, and I thought they would have, like I said, been several days ahead. But they said they did like a 10-mile Nero here, and then they kind of just sat around and waited out the rain all day. So they're basically doing a 3-mile Nero today. So I guess somehow the math adds up that I caught up to them. But yeah, they're going to camp a stealth site somewhere up here, and Brushy Bert was telling me that there's a gate with some bulls and cows in it that you don't really want to stealth camp in. So really, I need to go about 3 more miles, and it's gonna get dark by then. I just really didn't want to spend $75. I wasn't gonna pay $50 to sleep in my own tent. I'm not doing that. So it was like $75 to sleep in a nicer tent. But like I said, I don't even know what's in that tent besides electricity. And my plan originally was to go to Christmas, but it's 100 miles. And I wanted to get there by Sunday so I could watch the AFC, NFC playoff games. But since I took a 0, I'm not going to really be able to do that. And then Brushy Bert was kind of saying that going eastbound or going westbound around Orlando is actually better. And if I do go westbound, St. Cloud is 2 days away, and it's like 53 miles. So if I hike like even 20 tomorrow, 20 the next day, I can Nero into St. Cloud, get a hotel, check in early maybe, enjoy the hotel, watch the games, and use the money that I was going to spend here and basically get a whole hotel room. Because I think like the hotels I saw there were like $100 or something. Definitely full on night hiking. Probably can't see hardly anything, but neither can I. Trying to make sure I can't pass a certain gate, because somebody told me there's bulls in here that don't really take kindly to tents or hikers. So Dukes and them should be somewhere up here, and kind of hopefully run into them, because it's kind of hard to see campsites and what looks good in the dark. So worst case, I'll just hike, I think it's another like 1.5 miles all the way to the road. And I know for sure that there's a gate right there, cross that one, and camp next to the road, because I know that I'll be out of the area with the bulls, and in all likelihood they probably won't do anything to you, but who wants to get waken up by a bull at 2 o'clock in the morning? Not me. So this is the gate up here. I think the bulls, I don't know if they're on the other side of it or on this side, because there's cow patties everywhere over here. So this is like the southern gate, and then it's like 0.7 to get through it to the other side, and then once you get to the other gate, it's like right there at the road. So I haven't seen anybody else yet, so I'm guessing they hit this. I mean, there's not really any good camping spots around here. I mean, if you had to, you could, but I think I'm just gonna hike through it, because I said there's cow patties all over here, so I think it's better just to go another 0.7. My feet don't really hurt that bad, so I know at least next to the road I can sleep calmly and uninterrupted. I can block out the road noise with my earplugs. Okay, so maybe there used to be a gate there, but there's not anymore, so that solves that issue. It's 0.6 to the actual gate, and cross that and set up camp and go to bed. This is probably going to be close to, probably not quite 30 miles today, we'll see, but I think it's the longest day on this trail so far. So it probably doesn't show up on the camera yet, but you can probably hear the cars. You see the gate up here, and it's pretty damn close to the road. And camping so far on this side is not great. That you won't really be able to tell, but steeps off pretty good to the left. To the right, steeps off even further. I think it goes down to some kind of canal. So I'm hoping there's at least one good flat spot on the other side of this gate, somewhere next to the road. I'm not really worried about the road noise. It is a very busy road, but like I said, your brain kind of drowns that out because it's monotonous, and then I got earplugs, so just hoping there's good camping. So the road, as you'll see, literally right there, and then it's like just steep on both sides. So this is my setup. I put that there to, in case people leave in the morning before me, I don't want them to hit my guy line, but it's not too windy, it's not raining right now. I think it is going to get a little bit cold, but I think it'll work. Said it's not perfect, but turned out to be a 29-mile day, and it's 7:24, so long day.